Hey guys, this is Chris, strat-o-matic Delaware, and we are doing some red, white, and blue racing from play.com. Keith Abalone and play.com play sports simulation board games. Check them out. This is red, white, and blue racing. Our first video went over race week. Our second video, we're going to try to familiarize yourself with the rules on how to run the race, and then the third video will be a short race to be run at Martinsville Speedway. We are doing this with a 1980 set, which I purchased separately. The game comes with the 2000s decade set, the stars and the tracks. But I started messing around with the 80s because I kind of like grew up being aware of these guys, so these are the ones we're doing. So we've done race week. If you haven't watched that video yet, do it if you want to do qualifying. You don't need to use that for your qualifying to fill out your order. You can do it any way you like. You can do it historic. You can just jumble them up and put them in there however you want to do it. Mix them up, get them racing. But race week, it really adds to the game, if you ask me. And it doesn't take that long, 15 minutes once you get the hang of how to do it. So race day. Well, we are going to just go over all the aspects of play slowly, so that way you will be able to perhaps be a little more familiar once you see how the races run. First, we really want to look at our race card. Each track will have a card, and on it are a few things. It will say how many turns a race should be run. Basically, a turn equals 10 miles. So it's not how many laps, it's how many miles, roughly. But that's that. You are going to have escape and repair modifications for each track. Escape is how easily you can avoid trouble. And repair is if you can't avoid trouble, how quickly your pit crew and your garage area can get you back out onto the track. At Martinsville, you're going to be a -1 on escape and a +1 on repair. How do you find out what that is? Well, if you need to roll, you're going to be rolling the 2 metallic dice. So say you roll a 6. For escape, it's a 5. For repair, that would be a 7. At the beginning of every single turn, you are going to roll the black die and the 2 metallic die. Every single turn, you're going to roll those dice. So we have rolled a 5 and a 5 and a 2. You're going to combine these dice, so that's a 7. The 5 is going to show you what portion of the drivers may be involved during this 10 mile, 10 lap, whatever, during this portion of the race that this turn represents. The 7 is going to then tell you which quality, if any, or perhaps who is going to be instigating a duel. So if you roll this die, top group, if it is a 1 or a 2, it's going to affect the drivers in the top group here. If it were to be a 3 or a 4, that affects the middle group, which would be these drivers over here, these guys. If it were a 5, which it is, then you are going to be checking the cards of the bottom group, which we have stacked right there. If it were a 6, that would indicate that a duel has been instigated on that turn by a driver or drivers. The metallic dice, if it is a 1 through a 5 for the top group, middle group, or the bottom group, the metallic dice tell you which of these you are going to resolve for this turn. If it was a duel, the metallic dice, total 7, is going to tell you who is instigating a duel. So say it was a 6, it would be the number 6 car in the top group, which would be Cale Yarborough. If it was a 10, it'd be the number 4 cars in the middle group. Both cars in that number 4, and you can tell that easily by the dice. Cale Yarborough, number 6. He's got the 6 on his dice. Number 4 in the middle group, Harry Gant and Neil Bonnet, because of the 4. That is what that refers to. So let's say we've got, let's just, for poops and grins, let's make it the middle group, and we have rolled reflex. Now there are 6 qualities on here that appear on the driver's cards. Let's do that so we can see. Someone that has them all. Bobby Allison. They are reflex, control, skill, star, smart, and heat. They all refer to different aspects of a driver's ability to manipulate the controls for his car, be aware of his surroundings, get around the track as fast as he possibly can, and win the stinking race. What you're going to do is you're going to look what the 2 metallic dice say, and it's reflex. Now for this track, reflex, you would use smart on the final 2 turns of the race. We're going to say this is the first turn, so 7 is going to be reflex. So what you're going to do, and since it is for the middle group, any driver that has the quality reflex, okay, they are going to have a chance to get into the top group here. And this is how. Let's see. We're going to see that Kyle Petty has reflex. So you're going to roll the 3 dice. The red die is going to, you're going to look at the gas pedals for the driver. He has to roll within that range. He has to roll that number or less, 4 or less. Buddy Baker has 2. Over here, Bill Elliott has 5. Cale Yarborough has 3. Kyle Petty has 4, so that's going to be a 4 or less. If he succeeds in his gas pedal check, that die will tell him which driver here he is going after. And then this die will say if this driver was able to fend off the move by the driver in the middle group. This is found out by looking at his brake stars. Bobby Allison has 2, Alan Kulwicki has 1, and everyone in this top group also gets a brake star bonus. So now he has 3, he has 2. In addition, if he's going after someone with the same quality, reflex, you add another. So that would be a 4. In addition, if someone like Rusty Wallace has the star next to it, that counts as 2. So now not only would it be the 2 stars, the bonus is 3, reflex is 4, the extra star would make it 5. So you would have to roll a blue 6 in order for him to not be able to fend it off. In Rusty Wallace's case, he has 1 star. The bonus makes 2. That bonus up there. Reflex would be 3. The star next to the reflex would be 4. So essentially, if it were Kyle Petty against Rusty Wallace, Kyle Petty would have to roll a 4 or less. This die would be a 2, indicating Rusty Wallace. And this would have to be 4 or less for him to defend it, 5 or 6 for Kyle Petty to take the position. Now, let's go ahead and roll, and let's see who Kyle Petty is going to go after. I'm going to roll it over here. Okay. So Kyle Petty, 4, he passes his gas pedal check. He's going after Alan Kulwicki. Alan Kulwicki has 1 star, 2 stars for the brake bonus. He does not have the word reflex. So right now, Kyle Petty has beaten Alan Kulwicki, and you would take these 2 drivers and simply trade places. Boom. Let us say, for example's sake, that we had rolled a 1 on the blue die. Alan Kulwicki has 2. He was able to fend off the move, the charge, by Kyle Petty. However, Kyle Petty has a performance chip. He can spend that to change a failure into a success. And he would move over here and take that position. Let's do a couple more. More than have the reflex, Richard Petty. Richard Petty rolls a 2, 6, 5. 2, he passes his gas pedal check, a 4. 6, he's going after Cale Yarborough. He rolls a 5. Cale Yarborough does not have reflex, so he has 1 brake star, 2 on the bonus. 5 is higher than that. Richard Petty takes Cale Yarborough's place. Cale Yarborough drops to Richard Petty's place. Let us, well, boom. I don't want to get these mixed up, but that is how you do those quality checks. Some of the other qualities that may come up on a turn are problem, trouble, and rare. Now, in order to really be able to define these, we're going to read these out. Trouble. Let's do it as it is in the book. We're looking at page 2 in the game instructions book. Rare results recreate various rare occurrences such as speedway repair, weather effects, unusual driver movement, or track conditions. Problem results recreates the various problems a driver can have during the race, everything from cut tires to radio problems. Trouble results captures the potential for wrecks and spinouts that make stock car racing so exciting. Each driver is given an escape rating from 2 to 12. And you can see some of the escape ratings here. Bill Elliott has a 9. Allison a 9. Cole Wicke has a 6. Cale Yarborough has a 7. And in order to avoid trouble, he would have to roll that number or less. If it is above, he doesn't avoid trouble, but we'll show you how to get to that. But those are the different kinds of things that can come up when rolling for a turn. Dual results. If we were to have rolled a 6, there is a dual. Okay? Dual results. Well, we will get to how to do that. However, it is risky to do a duel, and we'll show you why it is risky to do a duel. But you would take this 7 here, and you would look down on the duel instigator list to find out which drivers or drivers is doing a duel. We've gone over quality challenges, resolving problems, and rare results. Whenever problem or rare results occur, such as problem or rare, whenever that occurs on the die roll, you will roll the red and white dice and check the special problems or rare results charts. Those charts are right here. You're going to look on these charts right here. There's the problem finder. Rare results are on the back. But you do this, first you are going to consult the driver finder chart first. So for the top, you're going to roll all 3 dice. Just get in the habit of it. You are going to roll the dice, and you're going to read red and white. So 33. Red die indicates the specific driver in the top group. Unless it's doubles, then it's the race leader. So this is red die of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if it's doubles, then it's the race leader. Middle group. It tells you what die rolls to look at which driver in the middle group. Same with the bottom group, which die rolls to look at which driver in which group. So first you're going to determine the driver. Then second, you're going to find out what kind of problem that driver is having. So you'll re-roll. So it was the race leader, it's Earnhardt. We roll and get a 6-1. So we're going to look on the problem finder, and we're going to see that 6-1 says, engine running hot, roll for repair. So now if you have to roll for repair, you are going to be consulting these over here. Since it is a problem roll, you're going to look in this chart. If it was a trouble roll, you would look in this chart. So the problem roll, Dale Earnhardt, the pit grade is inside the trophy in the lower left, so he has a pit grade of A. So we look at the problem chart, and we see that in the first third of the race, there is a better chance for the pit crew, for the garage to get him out. In the middle third of the race, the chance gets less, and then the final third of the race, it's impossible for poor pit crews and very difficult for good ones. So you're going to roll the 2 metallic dice. Dale Earnhardt is an A, first third of the race. He rolls a 7, and he needed an 11. Now, if he passes his pit crew roll, he is simply going to move to the bottom group. The top, he's going to move to the back of the bottom group. If he had not passed his repair roll, he would be out of the race. Now, once he is out and there has been trouble, he has had problem. Now you're going to roll and see if anybody else is affected in the top group, and you're going to roll for their escape. Jeffrey Bodine has a 5, so you're going to roll both metallic dice. That's a 9. He did not escape. He has a B, so for this you're going to look at the trouble pit crew. And first third of the race, he needs a 10. He is simply going to move to the back of the pack, all the way to the back of the race. Rusty Wallace has an escape of 8. He escapes, and he's going to stay exactly where he is. He's not going to go to the back. As a matter of fact, he's probably going to move up a spot. Bobby Allison has an escape of 9. He rolls an 11. So he needs, since he's a B, he has to have a roll of 10 in order to be repaired. And he rolls a 9. Very close, but he's just going to the back. He'll be able to continue to race. Alan Kolwicki has an escape of 6. He rolls a 12. Yucky, yucky. He's going to the back. He has a B pit crew grade, so he needs a 10 or less. He rolls a 7. He'll just go to the back. Bill Elliott has an escape of 9. He rolls a 7. He'll be staying exactly where he is. Cale Yarborough has a 7. He rolls an 8. So he's going to need to see if he can repair. His pit grade is a C. So he needs 9 or better. And he rolls an 11. Cale Yarborough is out of the race. That is how you do that. If it was rare, you would read it on the rare chart. But that is how you resolve problems and rares. Now, if there is a problem will trigger the need to fill a gap. And if a yellow flag resulted, 1 yellow flag turn. Now, if there is a problem, if you'll recall, now let's go back up here. Jeffrey Bodine is out. Cale Yarborough is out. I got to keep these straight. Bobby Allison. No, we'll just, I forget who, but we'll say Rusty Wallace and Bobby Allison stayed where they were. So I'm keeping those in order so I know where to put them back. So now we have 4 empty spots up here. And this is called filling the gap. Now we go to the middle group to find out if anyone is able to move up. And it is simply a gas pedal check. So we're going to roll the red, white, and blue. I'm going to look at the red die and see if it's within his gas pedal range. Mark Martin needs a 4. He rolls a 4. That was Dave Marcus's, wasn't it? I think it was. He rolls a 4. No, that was Kyle Petty's. What the heck's it doing up here? I don't know. Marcus had one too. All right. Got to keep that straight. So he rolled a 4. So Mark Martin will take this space right here. Next is Benny Parsons. He needs a 4. He rolls a 4, so he will move up to 5th place. Next will be Dave Marcus. He has a 4. He needs a 4 or less. He rolls a 3. He will move up and take 6th place right here. And then Ricky Rudd has 4 gas pedals. He rolls a 6. He does not pass his check. The turn goes to Tim Richmond. Tim Richmond rolls a 1. He needed 3. He'll move up. So now, in doing this, essentially these 4 spaces are empty. You're going to go to your bottom group. Your bottom group here that we've got stacked up here out of the way. And you're going to start with J.D. McDuffie, and you're going to do the same thing until all of the middle group spots are filled. I'll put these back. Once the middle group spots are filled, all of the drivers who went to the back of the pack, you're going to put them in order in the bottom of the bottom group. So that way, there are drivers that were up here that are going to the back of the race, and some are moving up. That is how you fill a gap. Now, if there is, we have done resolving quality challenges. Let us look at next. Resolving duel results. If there is a duel, we have rolled a 6, and we have rolled, let's say, a 3. We've rolled a 6 and a 3. So we are dueling. And when we look down here, we are going to see that 3, the number 3 car in the top group, is dueling. The number 3 car in the top group is going to pick any car in his group and attempt to take his position. All he has to do is roll his gas pedal check. If he passes his gas pedal check, then he takes the position of the one that he is dueling. If he does not, he must roll to escape trouble. If he does so, he remains where he is. If he fails to do so, he must roll a repair to stay in the race at the back of the pack. And then you fill the gap to fill the place. So Bobby Allison is going to try to take on Dale Earnhardt. Bobby Allison has 4 gas pedals. He only needs to roll a 4 on the red die. He rolls a 6. He fails. He does not take it. Okay? So now he has to roll escape. And his escape is 9. He has to roll 9 or less. He rolls a 6. He stays where he is. Turnover. If he had rolled a 10, 11, or 12, then he would have had to roll for repair and gone to the back of the lap if he had gotten his repair roll, or been out of the race if he hadn't. Let's say instead Bobby Allison had rolled a 2 on the red die. That's within his gas pedal check. And in a duel, the one who is being targeted does not get to defend. So none of this extra stars, break bonus, and none of this counts at all. It's simply his ability, his gas pedal to get around. So the 2, Bobby Allison now takes the lead. Dale Earnhardt has to roll his escape roll, which is 8 or less. If he rolls 8 or less, he simply takes the 4th place. 5, he would take the 4th place. However, if he had rolled a 10, now he has got to roll his pit crew grade for trouble to see if he can avoid being out of the race. If he passes that pit crew roll, then he will simply be at the back of the pack, at the back of the bottom group. Sometimes you will see dual instigators. Let's say we had rolled that 10. Number 10, the number 4 cars in the middle group both get to duel in this turn. So the middle group, number 4 cars, up a little higher. That light's not as bright as it was a minute ago. The number 4 cars are Harry Gant, Neil Bonnet. You always start with the odd one because 15th place, you always start with the one that is furthest from the lead. So Harry Gant gets to pick anybody in the same group and target them and duel with them. So he might say, well, you know, Tim Richmond is 3 places further up and he's only, you know, and now that doesn't really mean he's going to pick somebody to go. He's got 4. He stands a good chance of getting it. Neil Bonnet, on the other hand, has a 3, and in the beginning stages of the race, he may not want to do that for risk of not rolling that 3 and not getting his escape. His escape is 7, but there's a big chance there that he's going to go to the back of the pack. Why risk it? Dueling is completely optional. A driver is not required to duel, so he does not have to do so. That is dueling, feuding and fuming drivers. Feuding and fuming. And I personally have not done this yet, but if you roll a 7 for duel, it says fume, feud, roll again. Now, fuming and feuding drivers. Some duel results capture the overheated driver emotions that often make headlines in pro stock car racing. On a metallic die roll of 7, or if the metallic dice are doubles on a duel, feuding and fuming drivers go off the deep end, frequently causing mayhem. To determine a feud-fume result, check the feud-fume list on your score sheet. If there's more than one feud or fuming driver, that's right, check the list on your score sheet. See if there's more than one feuding or fuming driver, and you will note them on this portion of your score sheet right there. Feuding drivers here, fuming drivers here. Now I'll show the score sheet in a little bit. Wouldn't hurt to see that to know for sure how to fill that out. That doesn't feel too good. All right, no problem. Not worried about it. Back to this. So, if there's more than one feuding or fuming driver, roll a die to determine which driver is the hothead this time. There are no drivers on the list and nothing happens, and the turn is simply over. If dealing with a feuding driver, then include the driver he is feuding with. The driver in the feud who's ahead is considered to be the rabbit, and the trailing driver is considered to be the turtle. Roll the metallic dice and check the feud-fume results. Table printed on board A, which is right here. Out means the driver is wrecked and out of the race. Bottom means you'll place the indicated driver or driver's card or cards as the last cards in the bottom group stack. Trouble means feud has caused trouble on the track, and you'll treat this as a trouble race cam result for all drivers in the indicated group. Race cam results. Never use that term because I haven't used that term, but that is what a race cam result is. All of these right here are race cam results. If the die roll indicates a fuming driver, then that driver may choose to vent his anger on any driver in his group. You can make that choice yourself, or roll a die to determine the target driver randomly. The leading driver is considered to be the rabbit, and the trailing driver is the turtle. So let's say we rolled a 6, turtle and rabbit both go to the bottom of the bottom group. If we had rolled a 9, turtle out plus yellow, which means the back driver spun and wrecked out of the race, and there's a yellow, so there's a caution. If it had been a 3, rabbit out plus trouble, which means rabbit spun out and wrecked out of the race, the driver of the two that was in the lead, and there's trouble, so you need to find out who has trouble and go from there. And concluding the turn, once all challenges and duels are complete and all trouble and or problems are resolved and any gaps filled, make any desired notes, mark the completion of the turn on the score sheet, and begin a new turn. Yellow flag turns. Anytime that there is a yellow flag, nothing happens. They simply go around the track just like in real life. So it's just a turn that passes in the race. Nothing happens. If a yellow flag turn occurs on a pit turn, conduct the pit turn as usual as outlined below, which we're getting ready to get into probably in a second how to run the race video, I think. And a race cannot end on a yellow flag. If it would, conduct one additional turn for the race, kind of like a green, white, checkered kind of thing. So there is what is going to be part 1 of how to run the race. Part 2 will come back. We'll go over pits, and there's not much more to go over. We'll go over the score sheet, and then we will do a video showing demonstration play of a race. So guys, this is Chris, strat-o-matic Delaware. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on rolling.